Hello everyone, this is Tech Urvashi. Welcome to another YouTube live. So today we are going to master advanced debugging in React.js. I'm going to share my screen. So I hope you guys are doing well. So if you guys can post how are you and which state or which part of India or maybe outside India you are connected from. So I hope my screen is visible. Yeah, I think it's visible. Okay. So what we are going to do is we are going to see today how we can master React.js debugging. Okay. So this is something which is a bit advanced. So if you are someone who is a working professional, then definitely it's a video for you. And also if you're someone who is a skilled fresher as in someone you have joined the course and learned Monstack, especially React.js. Okay. So definitely it's going to help you out. Okay. So we are going to see how we can master advanced debugging. Okay, so I'm pretty sure debugging techniques you guys must have seen. Okay, which is very normally even those we used to debug our JavaScript as well. Okay, first is of course our regular console.log. Okay, we all use it. Okay, even I use it. Okay, whenever we want to check a value in a variable, simply we use it. Okay, second that we have is adding the breakpoints. Okay, so breakpoints is very beneficial in terms of when you want to see the flow. Let's say if you join a company, right? Generally, you are when you go to a company as a fresher or even in like as a working professional, when you switch a company, then you want to understand the production code, you want to understand the flow of the code. Okay, so generally you go with the adding the breakpoints and you can understand the flow of the code through multiple files. Okay, that is how you generally go with, and that is how it works. Okay, so these two I'm pretty sure you guys have seen. Quickly I'll show you this. Okay, then after this we will actually see the main topic. Apart from this, how we can debug React.js, and also debugging is a process to find the bugs which is visible to you. Okay, which let's say your code is not working, so you're going to debug your code. But apart from that, especially when you work with any advanced framework, like I'll just stick to front end and React and all that. So especially if you work with React, so let's say multiple unnecessary re-rendering is happening, right? So how can we debug? So those are the things which is not visible to us. They are indirectly making our application slow. Okay, but we can figure that out using some techniques. Okay, so today, if you guys have heard, we'll talk about profiler. Okay, we'll be talking about like how we can clear, what is the importance of clear timeout or clear intervals. Okay, so this is another thing you will see. Okay, so silently these are not visible as an error to us, as a bug to us, right? These are not clearly visible, but apart from these two techniques where we see the error, where we want to find the bug and then we want to fix it, silently there are a lot of bugs which is silently there in your application, and how we can debug that or how we can identify that first. Okay, so we'll go with the same process. And if you have joined my earlier bootcamp of React optimization technique, you must be knowing the drill that I'll be sharing this document. So this document contains exactly what I'm going to cover in the session. So I'll be sharing this document. If you want to get access to this document, you can join the WhatsApp community, and there I'll be posting the GitHub link. On my GitHub, I'll be pushing all the today's code and this document as well. Okay. So now what I have done, I have taken one code example. So firstly, we'll understand this code, because see, it's important to understand that you see what the problem is. Okay, firstly identifying the problem is extremely important, then applying that is the next part. Okay, so firstly we'll try to understand where these type of problem come silently. Like I'm saying, these are silent bugs in your application and you don't see it as such. Okay, so this is a mini application. Okay, so I'll just quickly walk you guys through this. So here I have created. Okay, so let me just write the folder structure here. Okay, so folder structure. Okay, and don't worry, just these two, I was not thinking of covering. These are basic, but still I'll just quickly walk you through console.log and breakpoint, and then we'll go to the advanced part. Okay, quickly the folder structure. Okay, so today our main work is to identify and fix it. Okay, because see, code is already written in real time. Okay, code is already there. So our work is to identify and fix it. So this is exactly we are going to do today. Okay, so talking about the folder structure, we have our app.jsx file, the root component. Okay, then I have created one components folder. Inside components folder, I have added one live metrics component. Okay, then I have added one alert manager. So all these components are a part of app. Okay, then I've added one server logs, and there is one error boundary. Okay, so error boundary is another one I have added. Okay. And these three components are, or rather, all the four components are directly or indirectly a part of app. Okay. So, like we work with multiple web pages, right? If you remember, you attended my React optimization hook bootcamp. So, there were a couple of pages. So, today we will be working on the same page, and in that, we'll see the existing code and we will identify the problem. And right now, if you see that this code will work fine, like output wise what we are expecting, it's there. Okay, once I'll explain you guys this code, you will see it's all there, but silently there is a problem in this code. Okay, so that is what we are going to see in the advanced part. That's why I call it as advanced or a masterclass. Okay, now coming back to this quickly, I'll walk you through the code. So this is the app.jsx file. Okay, so simply it's a performance metric like application I've created just to monitor the performance. Okay, like if I click on this alert manager, some message will trigger. Okay, so basically if I click on this, this is good value, this value is going to increment. Okay, then there is a metrics controller, means if I click on this, this box will come, and if I click on this, this box will vanish. Okay, here, there is some static list of 100 IDs I have taken. You can see it's 1 to 0 till 99 must be there. Okay. So, let's say, very static, simple static list of 100 records I am displaying here. Okay. And some button is here, text. Okay. You can see. And there is some uptake timer is there. Okay. So, this is what I have here in terms of UI. Okay. And these are all separate components. For example, this alert manager is this alert manager component. Okay, your server logs is the server logs component. Okay, and then your line metrics is this line metric component. Okay, so I've kept everything as three boxes, means three components are here, and they all are wrapped inside your app. Okay, so our server tick is this one, the value you see here. Okay, and you can see this is the list of 100 records which is going to display here in this component. Okay, which we are sending. So this logs data we are sending to the server logs component. Okay, and there we are displaying it. And for representing each log card, we are creating this log item. Okay, this is what we have here. This is the first part. Second part that we have here is this one, alert manager. Alert manager is basically when you click on it, there is a, when you click on this button, trigger alert storm. Okay, we are just triggering this method, and then we are iterating over it, and there's a set timeout. Basically, a trigger should come after a minute, after 1 second. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, that is a trigger we have added. Okay, and third is this, where we are going to click. Okay, and this should hide. You can see this is a box where this cpu timer I have added. Okay, in the console you can see I'm consoling it. It will keep on happening. If I click on it, it should unmount, and if I click on it, it should display basically. Okay, that is what we have created here. Okay, so these are the three components. Okay, so one by one I'll show you how we will identify the problems in them, which are silently bugs which is there. Okay, but we don't see it because application is working fine, right? See, it's unmounting is happening, this is displaying this. If I'm clicking, it's working, right? There's no problem if you see here right now. Okay, but actually there are bugs. Okay, to start with, first I'll quickly start with console.log. Console.log you guys already know. Okay, it's just to console some value which is coming. Let's say some data is coming from an API and you want to check the value inside it. Okay, so you can just come and console the value. For example, in today's session here I've done the console. Okay, second thing that we have is breakpoints. Okay, so if I go to inspect, okay, you can go to sources and add the breakpoints. That's, these are the two very basic way of debugging your code. Okay, and breakpoints, so breakpoint specifically I would say it's the best way to, you know, understand our existing production code. So if I go here, let's say alert manager file. Okay, so if you want to understand, you can just add the debugger here. These are your breakpoints. You can start the debugger. Okay, and you can see the flow of the code and debug as well, what's the issue. Okay, so these are the two basic way of debugging you guys must be knowing. Okay, now we will talk about the advanced. Okay, so we'll go one by one. So we'll start with this first, then second and third. Okay, so firstly we'll talk about alert manager. Okay, now we'll go in depth of each of these components. So firstly, we have this alert manager. Okay, so what is happening in this alert manager? Okay, I'll explain the code now in detail of each component. So here you can see this is a div tag. Okay, it's a simple tailwind CSS I'm using to style it. So total number of alerts are going to come here. Okay, and simply you can see alerts are coming here. This is a state. Alert is a state here, so which is a value of 0. When I click on this button, okay, I just want to increment it. Okay, so you can see on click of this, okay, click event will fire and this function is going to be called. Okay, inside this function now what we are doing here, you can see there is a for loop I have added with the with this 3 as the for 0 1 2 3 times it will iterate. Okay, and after this what will happen, there is a timer I have added here. Okay, inside this timer we are just setting this alert. So setting is something which is happening inside alert. Okay, set timeout, I hope you know, it's one of the timing interval that will trigger after whatever milliseconds we mention here. So it will trigger after 1 second. Okay, so this is what is happening here. Okay, so what we want here, that if I click on it, okay, I am expecting it should be incremented by 3 ideally, because if you guys know this, that in this for loops, okay, inside a for loop, if you add a timeout, okay, it acts like a closure function. Okay, so I hope you guys are aware of the closure. It's a part of JavaScript. I'm assuming you guys know closure function. It's a part of JavaScript, by the way. Okay, so here I'm assuming you guys know this, that this for loop will have a set timeout and it should trigger after exactly 3 seconds. Okay, I know the timer is 1 second, but here you will get the value should come as 3. Okay, but now let's do one thing. Let's console the alert state. Let's see if the value is coming as 3 or not. Okay, so if I go here, okay, also I'll refresh this. Okay, now you see if I click on this, ideally I should get 3 here. Okay, but I'm getting 1. Also, let's see the inspect in the console what we are getting. So if I'm consoling this alerts, what we are getting here. So if I go here and here, okay, for a moment, I'm commenting this console line. Okay, now see, even to show you guys this value, I'm again consoling everything. Okay, so now you see if I click on this button over here, it is giving me 0. Okay, if I click on it, it is giving me 1. Okay, if I click on this, it is giving me 2. Okay, ideally what it should be 3, because I am iterating over it. Okay, so what is happening, what is the problem here in this closure? It in this case it will act like a closure function. Okay, so what is happening when I'm clicking on this button? Okay, so here if in console I'm getting alerts as 0, then 1, then 2. I'm expecting 3 because I'm iterating over it 3 times. Okay, so what is happening? This set timeout over here is you like basically it is taking the value of the old state, okay, and logging it 3 times. Okay, it is just taking the value of the state which is 0 in the beginning, and that is what it is consoling. Okay, so set timeout is locking the value of alerts when this loop is running. Okay, so it is actually not updating the value. Okay, so what is happening, it is just updating by 1. Ideally it should update by 3 because it is just locking the moment it goes into loops. Okay, it is locking the previous state value. That's why it is only incremented by 1. Okay, now this is something you will see as a silent issue is there. Okay, which we have to fix. It's like a bug only, which, but if you see it, the logic and everything, it's all working fine. We don't see any problem here. Okay, but when we run it, then we kind of identify the issue. Now how to solve this problem? So whenever you see this type of problem in your logic, okay, so if you know, whenever we are updating a state, right, so we should update it like this. Okay, so whenever we are updating, so we will update it with a callback. Okay, so what will happen, it will wait for this previous value. Let's say I'll call it as previous alerts as a callback. So we are passing a callback function here, and I'll update it with previous alert plus 1. Okay, so now what will happen, it will wait. So set timeout will not log the or lock the value of previous value of the state. It will wait for this to come. Okay, it will wait for this value to update, like come 1 2 3, and then it will update the value. Okay, so now if we come and see here, and I'll refresh it once. Okay, now if I click on this, now you will see 3 is coming. Okay, now if I click on this, you will see 6 is coming, and even in console as well. Okay, so if I show you guys console, even in this you see you 0, then 3. So here's 6. So set timeout is not locking the value for me here. Okay, it is making it, since we are passing callback, it will wait for this part to be updated and then move on to the next step. Okay, that is what is happening here. So this is one way. So whenever you see a state update, okay, you should update it like this, especially if you have a closure inside a like basically a closure is present. Okay, because closure will, what will happen, closure will it's like a stale closure. Okay, where it will locks the value of your state and it doesn't allow to update completely as it should be. Okay, so it is just going to update by one instead of three. Okay, so this is one way of debugging. Okay, so this is something. Now how I identified it, I just checked wherever you see a closure and you see some state update dependency inside it. Okay, so whenever you see a closure and you see a state updation of dependencies there, so you have to remember I should check if the values are perfectly or correctly updating or not. Okay, that is a one way. That is how we identify it. I hope this part is clear. If there is any doubt, feel free to put it in the comment section. Also, if you're going to watch this live after this live is ended, okay, later on as a video, then feel free to put the doubt in the comment section. I'll be happy to answer it. Okay, personally I answer all the doubts, so you guys can comment as well. Okay, now moving on to the next part of it. Okay, so next component, so every component I've created one problem. Okay, that is how I have arranged it. Okay, so second problem that we see here is this part. Okay, now I have a app component. App component has another component called server logs. Okay, server logs I'm importing over here. Simply I'm importing server logs over here. Okay, and there's a static list of server logs over here, and simply I'm passing the logs data. It's a state variable. You can see it's a state variable. Simply, it's not a state variable. It's a simple variable where I'm putting the state. Putting the log data. Okay, 100 state data over here. And if I go to this component here, you can see we are iterating and logs item are coming here. Okay, so this is performance related bugs which is going to come. Okay, so this is something new you guys might see, profiler. Okay, so now always you should go and see the profiler. Now how will you see? Firstly, you guys need to add the React developer tools. Okay, so if you guys have added the React developer tools, okay, if not, I'll just quickly walk you through. So that has to be there. If you add React developer tools, okay, over here, okay, you can go to this and it will be added. Click on add to Chrome, it will be added like an extension. Okay, once it is added, you can come and see your React developer tools. Okay, now if I go here, so you will see components after this and you will see a profiler. Okay, so here you guys have to go to profiler. Okay, profiler. Now what profiler helps us with? Profiler will actually helps us to understand how many re-rendering is happening. Like I told you, re-rendering is one of the bug issue in terms of performance. Okay, so your application performance will be slower if you don't handle the re-rendering part. Okay, even though in React optimization hook we have talked about re-rendering part. Okay, but today we are talking about debugging. So we will try to understand, identify it. Okay, so wherever now how to identify it? Whenever you see a component, okay, inside another component and you're passing some state data, especially it's an array of object, some iteratable data. Okay, because see, logs is a data here with 100 records. Okay, so it's a iteratable data, so I'm sending it to the server logs. Okay, so anyways, if I've talked about in React optimization hook that whenever you're sending a data to a child component and something is not changing in the child component, we should use react.memo here. Okay, that is what we anyways knowledge wise we know. Okay, but let's say I forgot to use it. Let's just assume. Okay, so what I'll do here, I'll just come here. Okay, I'll open profiler. Okay, and simply I'll start the profiling. Okay, I'll start the profiling here. I'll quickly. Okay, one second. Now I'll start the profiling. Okay, so all the rendering which is happening right now, it will happen. Okay, I'll just change some things inside this. Okay, and I'll stop this. Okay, now while updation or while other things were changing, while updation and other things were changing, because if something is changing in app, right, like show metrics is here. Okay, this will become true, this will become false, or this server trick you can see. This server trick you can see is show metric is there and server tick is there. See, server tick is here at the top. Server tick is constantly changing because it's a interval I have had. It's constantly working here. Okay. So it's constantly working means my app is changing, state is changing inside this. All the child components are going to re-render, and you can see it's happening as well. Okay, you can see it's happening as well. So again, I'll refresh it to show you the. So you start it. You basically you are just recording the how things are working behind the scene in your React. All the re-rendering, everything will be captured. Okay. Now just see here. Just see here. So you can just open this flame graph over here. Okay. And you can see, so these are two type of graphs you see here. Okay, this is ranked, this is flame graph, and this here you can see. So every time you can see log item, can you see log item over here? So log item component is re-rendered. So now I will go and check why is it re-rendering? Okay, because ideally I'm not changing anything in server logs. I'm not changing anything in log item. Ideally, it should not re-render. Okay, so if you see here, it's app component. App component has a state. Okay, state server tick is changing every second, which is fine, which can happen. Okay, but there's a child component here called server logs. Now server logs has a uh, data called logs. Okay, and ideally I'm not changing anything in server logs, or I'm not changing anything inside this component, right? Still you will see this re-rendering is happening. So if you see these here, so you can check every time something changed, every time something changed, you can see what re-render. Okay, you guys can literally come and check what re-render. So this is a issue because my, see, working wise you see na, it's all fine, there's no issue here. But once you come and add the profiler, you will actually see the problem. Okay, you will actually see the problem. Okay, so this is actually a problem. Okay, again I'll repeat, you start the profiling. Profiling is a great way to understand the performance in terms of what is re-rendering. Okay, on click of something, what is re-rendering, everything you can track here. Okay, so generally I use this one rank chart. You generally, some developers use flame graph. So you can see app and how much time each component is taking to re-render. You can track that as well. Okay, now you can see this is your server logs. These very re-rendering is happening, right? See, so this is a problem. So how we will solve it? Okay, so we know, we saw that in React optimization bootcamp also. We will just put React.memo. Okay, because this is how you can avoid unnecessary re-rendering of a child component. Okay, so either you go conceptualize React.memo, or that you already apply it. But let's say if you don't apply it directly, then you can just go and just check through profiling which any component which is re-rendering unnecessarily. Okay, now just add it, and which is re-rendering, right, unnecessarily. Just check. Okay, see, if something is changing, then obviously it should re-render. Then it's not a thing, right? So I'll just refresh it, and then we'll start the profiling, and then we'll see now re-rendering. This part will not come unnecessarily. Now just look at this. Can you all see? Now unnecessary log item is not coming. Log item is not coming. See, it's not coming because now this means this piece of code is not running at all. It's going to render only initially. That's it. Not after that. Okay. So just see how much re-rendering we are saving, because just imagine this is having lakhs of records, thousands of records, right? So we are saving a lot of re-renderings over here. Okay, so this is also silent thing you see through profiler. You can just check and then come and fix it. Okay, all right, I hope profiler part is clear to all. Any doubts, just put it in the comment section. Okay, now we'll go to the third component, that is live metrics. Okay, now before we go to this, I'll just uncomment this part over here. Okay, so before this, quickly I'll recall one topic of, if you guys remember, component did and mount. Okay, component did and mount. Okay, so of course today's session is for someone who already know React, right? Otherwise you won't be able to understand. So I'm assuming you know component lifecycle methods. So let's say what is happening here, in class components we have this lifecycle component methods. A lot of lifecycle component methods are here. Okay, from that I just want to pick one method, okay, which is component did and mount. Okay, I just want you guys to recall this. Okay, what is did and mount used for? Did and mount is one of the lifecycle component methods in class, used to unmount. Okay, used to remove, delete something after that work is done. Okay, specific, or in to go very specific in real time. Let's say you want to clear some interval, you want to remove some event listener, right? That is where we generally use it. And in the same thing, if you want to implement in a function based component, okay, we can do it with use effect. So we can do use effect. Okay. I'm recalling the concept. Okay. Only reason is so that when I write the code, you understand. Okay. So if you guys see, unbounding is something you might have used, but you might not have used. Okay, so it depends. So now we know this use effect takes a dependency array. Okay, it is an array with some state. Okay, it is a without any array. Okay, nothing is there, right? No dependency array. So these are the situations. Okay. Now, if you want to implement this did unmount in a function-based component, means you want to clear out some intervals, you want to remove some event listeners. It's very simple. You just return a function from here, okay, and in that you write the logic to clear something, okay. In this, you write the logic to clear timing events, intervals, okay, or you want to remove some event listener, this is the place you want to unmount this component. Okay, so component is not literally the component, basically some intervals you want to remove, or you want to remove some event listeners. So you want to clear some data. Okay, so that is what we want to do with it. Okay, that is the idea here. This is what I want to do here. Okay, so this is the concept. If in a class based component you're working, you work with this. In function based components, in the use effect, you just return a function and that is done. Okay, that is how we do it. Now coming to this concept. Okay, so just suppose I have added, there's a component called live metrics. Okay, what I have done here is I have added a use effect. Empty array means on initial rendering it will happen just okay, but there is a timer here. There is a timer here. Okay, so what we have here in this component, so we see that if I click on this, there will be a button here. Okay, if I click on this, okay, I'll show you guys the button here. So here there is a show metrics button, state variable, like a flag variable we are maintaining. Okay. So if I click on this, so this part is your this live metrics, which is just coming up. This is your live metric. So randomly these percentage values are coming. Okay. That is this logic. Okay. Now what is happening here is I have a show metric state variable which is inside your app. Okay. You can see it is here. So if it is true, it is true, then this button will come and the component will come. Okay, I have added. So this is the and operator we are using. Okay, show matrix and, so if it is true and this live matrix component is going to come. Okay, and this button means right now the live matrix is here. If I click on it, it is unmounting. If I click on it, it will come. If I click on it, it will go. Okay, and this is correct. There is no issue in the UI point of view. There is no issue. Okay, silently there is a bug in terms of performance or in terms of memory leak. So this is the point which I'm going to discuss is memory leaks and effects, memory leaks and use effect. Okay, so this is also kind of a debugging we need to do, and or keep a check whenever you're working with use effect and you're trying to do unmounting, or you're using some timing events inside this. Okay, especially interval. Okay, so you are having a flag variable which is true. If it is true, then this is going to come. If it is false, then this is going to come. Okay, and then display is happening through this. Okay, and this I'm going to update on this click of this button. Okay, I'm going to update it on this click of this button here. Set show metrics. Okay, this is the logic. This is how this part is constructed. If I click on it, it is working, and there's no issue here in terms of code. Okay, so output wise, it's working right. But I'll go to inspect and I'll show you guys one thing, that there is a memory leak happening. Okay. Now I'll refresh it again and just look at this value of fetching CPU metrics. Okay. So it's a set interval. Set interval works every second, whichever milliseconds you will pass, let's say 1 second. And you can see it is setting my CPU value to math or random. Math or random, by the way, generates a value between 0 and 1. Mad or floor will round off the value and we are multiplying it by 100. Okay. So value will be something between 0 and your 99. Okay. So value will be between that. So here you can see this map, this is changing. Okay. I'll refresh and just look here. This fetching CPU. Okay. So this is a part of your live metric. This is a part of your live metric component, which is here. Okay. Now, when I click on this button, when I click on this unmount, right? So live metric component is removing. Okay. Again, I'm repeating. If I have this part over here, okay. So if I click on right now, this live metric component is coming in UI. Okay. This live metric component is coming in UI and it is correct. Okay. It is coming in UI. It's a part of UI. This is true. When I click on this button, it will hide. Okay, it will hide. So live metric component is not visible in UI anymore. but still you will see this console will keep on going. This console will keep on going. See, 31, 32, 30. It will keep on going. It will not stop. Okay. Again, I'll show you. Even if I'm mounting, I'm unmounting, I'm mounting or I'm unmounting, it will keep on going. It will keep on going. It is not stopping. Ideally, when this component is not a part of UI, ideally this console should not work in the background, right? So what is the problem here? So this is the problem of memory leak. Okay. So what we will do to solve this problem, now this is the part of unmounting. Okay. And from here, if you have not worked with this part earlier, you will actually understand how cleanup function works. Like, this is what we call as cleanup function. Okay. So whenever your component is, this is the real meaning of unmounting, like when your component is unmounting from the UI. So sometimes I've seen students get confused, like unmounting means you're deleting it. No, it's not deleting, it's hiding from the UI. It's going away from your UI. Okay. It's not coming in your UI anymore. Okay. So now just clearly see, I am unmounting it. Okay. So I am clicking on this. Okay. I am removing. So this part is going away from your UI. So all the background process, console, everything that you were doing, ideally it should not happen. It should clear up. Okay. It should clean up. So what I'll do, I'll just say return. Okay. So here it's a function. Okay. Now here I can just directly write it in a shortcut format, clear interval, and I'll pass interval ID. So interval ID is what we pass here inside a clear interval, right? If it's a set timeout, then we pass clear timeout and we pass the timeout ID. Okay. And every time interval ID is a unique ID. It's always created fresh. Okay. Now just see here, if I refresh now, okay. Now it will start, see, it will keep on going. And if I unmount it, see, it has stopped. Now it has stopped at 4. It has stopped. So now when live metric component is not a part of UI, it's not going to run this background whatever process was working in this. Okay. And if I click on it again, it will start. Okay, see, it will start. If I click on this, it will stop, right? And this is exactly how it should work, right? Unnecessarily a process is running in the background, even though the component is not a part of UI, there's no point. And this is exactly what we call as unmounting a component. Okay. And when a component is not a part of UI, if there is any timing function which is going on, this is how you clear it. Okay, this is how you clear it off. Okay. So I hope till now this part is clear. First part is we discussed, wherever you see a on state updation, you see a timer. Okay. Just take care of this callback, updating it with a callback. Okay. Second thing is, whenever you see a child component inside where you are passing some huge amount of list data, okay, then it should not re-render unnecessarily. Okay. If it is re-rendering, okay, then you have to go and check it. Like, go to profiler and check whatever is re-rendering or unnecessary rendering is happening. Okay. Unnecessary, just check whichever is coming, you come and put you react.memo there. Okay. Now this child component server logs will re-render only when it is dated. Okay. And third thing that we discussed today was that whenever you have any component which you are unmounting, you're removing from UI on some a flag variable, a boolean value it is dependent on, you should clean up the function. And this is how you clean up. This is how you implement component did unmount of class component inside a function class. Okay. Simply inside a use spec, you put it. Okay. Now when you want to do it, that can change. Okay. On state variable on every render. Okay. The last part that we'll see is error boundary, which is like a fallback. Okay. So sometimes you will see, you guys must have encountered this problem. Sometimes a blank UI comes, like you click on something and your application stops. Some undefined value comes sometimes. Okay. And your UI just stop there. Okay. Sometimes your UI just stop there. Okay. A blank screen comes. Okay. So we should always give a fallback. So not every time, but sometimes, okay, for some UIs, what you can do, you can create this error boundary component, and whichever component you want to give a fallback means if any UI related issue comes, okay, then this will come here. Okay. Like caught by error boundary instead of white screen, something like that. Okay. Something has crashed, let's say, like for example, some data is coming from an UI. Okay. Like for example, some data is coming from an UI. Okay. From an API. Okay. And then we are having some display related issue. Okay. Some white screen is coming, so we can define some fatal error button can come. Okay. And this is what we can display there as a error boundary. So error boundary is something you create with only class based component. Okay. Just to mention here, you will have this uh, one of the lifecycle component method you can use. This will be the fallback. If there is now how it works, if there is any error in the child, okay. Now you see error boundary is a parent component, and alert manager, your live metrics and server logs. All three components are a part of it. Okay. So all these components in future, if alert manager or show metric or this server logs has any issue in terms of fallback where they need fallback UI, okay, they will just follow and go to this error boundary where you will get this that this has some error. Okay, this has error will become true. Okay, and whatever error message will come, okay, like let's say it will become true, and simply you will display this as a fallback. Okay, otherwise you will display return the normal children which is there. Okay, so this is how you can handle as a fallback you if you want to give like a error boundary, that class based component you can create and you can just put that part inside it. Okay, so this is something we have. This is also we follow, but not for every component, for yeah, but for the main components we can do that. Okay, so this is the fourth part of the for today. Okay, I hope you guys like this, enjoyed this, and you guys must have learned something in terms of debugging. So like I told you in the beginning, these are things which is actually not a bug, okay, as such, but performance related, cleanup related, some unnecessary, performance related things are happening in the background, which is like a bug. Okay, so but you should see, identify it in the existing code and then fix it. Okay, and whatever I spoke today, it's all in this document. You guys can go check this document. Everything is here. See the silent killer, memory leaks. Okay, so all these phases I have covered today. Okay, you guys can see. Okay, so and the example that I took on this, based on this only, you will see everything. Okay, so I'll be pushing this code, okay, and this document to my GitHub, and I'll be providing the GitHub link in my WhatsApp community, so you guys can join that. To join it, you will see that link in the description of this YouTube live that you're watching right now. Okay, also just to someone who is joining for the first time, I just want to mention here, or you're going to see it after the live has ended. Just put anything, any topic which you have doubt with related to Merl and GenAI integrations. Okay, you guys can see, ask me that. And also this week and next week I'll be doing some GenAI related projects, GenAI integration related projects, where Gemini API integration I'm going to do in a Merl project. Okay, maybe in front end, maybe in back end. Okay, so you guys can join that. One day live sessions are there. Okay, so you can subscribe and just be connected, and every week mostly the live session happens. Okay, so you guys can stay connected. I'll be sharing this just in a half an hour. I'll be sharing it in the WhatsApp group, the GitHub link, and then of course you guys can refer that and save the code. Okay. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Okay. See you guys in the next slide. So next slide is happening on 14th. Okay. So there we'll be talking the AI evolution, like how and what you should learn as a developer, how you can start your career, or someone who is already a working professional, how you can start your career in terms of AI. Okay. So that is what I'll be guiding you. Okay. All right. Thank you guys. Bye. Have a nice day.